Let's talk about your shirt. Talk about what's going on there.
Well, I'm wearing a shirt that says "Stop the Deportation of Veterans." A lot of people don't realize that not just citizens can be in the military, but also veterans. Also residents. So I came to this country legally. For those out there who can question that, I came to this country legally when I was 5 years old. That's when I told you that I started seeing the Rambo movies, and
Mm-hmm.
I desired to be somebody like that. I wanted to join the military to always have a home. Because growing up, what I didn't mention back then, growing up is we were this, this ain't your country. Go back to your country. I
Yeah.
love this country. I wanted this country to be my country. So I said, what is the best way to do that? Fight for this country. So I went and I when I joined the Marine Corps, I wanted to earn my place in this country. I went and I went to Iraq, struggled with a lot when I came back from Iraq, divorce, lost a friend in Iraq. War is not, war is war.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean by that, the smells that you will see, it smells that you will smell, the things you will see stay with you. I have severe PTSD. I was diagnosed with 70% PTSD as soon as I came back home. Nightmares. And that's what led a lot to my being homelessness. When I came back, I struggled with some substance abuse and I got in trouble with the law. When I got in trouble with the law, I spent several years homeless. When I got sober, as my testimony says, I started getting all my documentation back. The government gave me all my things back because I was always a permanent resident. When I came back from Mexico last summer, first time I ever went to Mexico since my childhood, and I get detained at the airport, and they saying, "Hey, by the way, yes, you are legal, but over a decade ago you broke this law,
Mm-hmm.
and you are no longer allowed to come back in this country." Uh, it was devastating. I'm sitting there at immigration detention center at the airport. And anybody who wants to go look at the full story is if you go to East Texas Pasture. Yeah, East
There
Texas.
you go.
There you go. Uh, so I wanna talk about God in this situation, if that's okay.
Oh yeah, of course. You know the name of the podcast.
Yeah.
Podcast.
Well, I wanna glorify God in this. I know we're talking about my shirt, but for those who don't know, there's been over 100,000 veterans deported, and about 80% of these veterans deported are veterans who struggle with PTSD, who have self-medicated drugs or alcohol or gotten a DUI, going from a VFW going home because of their PTSD. And being a resident, you break the law, you get deported.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I am trying to advocate for this where it is not an immigration issue, it is a veteran issue. Yes, there's certain laws. In 1996, the law Bill Clinton passed is called the Immigrant Responsibility Act. It says it's your responsibility to be good in this country or else you'll be kicked out. 100% I approve of that. But our veterans were broken by this country.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying they deserve a better chance. What they deserve is their case to be not looked at as a general case.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Why did you do this? Is this a first time offense? Are you know, women, children? And that's different. Are you hurting people? Or is this something that you're self medicating yourself?
Mm-hmm.
You are punishing yourself. I was sitting down yesterday and watching a movie, one of my favorite movies. The last year has been so hard on me. My PTSD has been going crazy for several reasons. Just in December, we went and we celebrated, we put wreaths on the tombstones of our fallen, military members. And this is where people don't understand. I try to be this strong person walking with God and helping everybody else, but I go home and I fall apart. And this is why I fall apart. That day that we went and did, it's called Reefs Across America for our veterans. You know how many people showed up to do that? 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the rest of our nation doing this? So I'm standing there holding Reeves and we are doing the national anthem. And I'm there, love the national anthem. And I'm crying, not because of this, not because we're fixing to put Reeves on our fallen soldiers, but because I'm going, this is my anthem. I'm fixing to get kicked out of this country. This is the flag that I chose to fight for. This is the flag that I said I will serve. And I'm listening to the national anthem, and just in my mind, it's going, "Is this the last time I'll ever be able to stand and salute this flag? Because do I salute the American flag when I get deported? I mean, what do I do?
Mm.
Is it even my flag anymore?" The crazy thing is, all these veterans, there's Purple Heart veterans that have been deported and are no longer allowed to come back into this country because they broke the morale laws of this country. Really? There's moral laws in this country?
Mm.
And I say that because,
Meanwhile, a lot
yeah,
of other things you can do.
yeah. So, but for majority of these people who get deported, they don't get to come back. But there's one hope for every single person who gets deported. When you die abroad, the United States will allow you to come back in a box and be buried in a military, you know,
Memorial service.
yeah.
Mm.
Why when they die?
Yeah.
So I struggle with that, where like we're fighting to stop our veteran suicide rate. Do you know the high percentage of veterans who get deported commit suicide? Because their families are left here and they don't want to. This is the thing where people, my wife and my kids, they tell me, "Daddy, we will go wherever you want," and I'm gonna be transparent. I break down and I cry with my family, and my wife's like, "Why are you crying? We're supporting you," and I tell my wife, "I'm the man in this family. It is my job to sacrifice for my family. It is not my family's job to sacrifice for me. I've sacrificed for this nation. I have sacrificed for homeless people. I have sacrificed for so many people. It is not okay for my family to sacrifice for me." So we see that, and I think it's just so unfair that a lot of these there are veterans who have been caught trafficking, tons of drugs. That's different.
Yeah, it's circumstantial. Yeah.
But they're not viewing veterans like that. They're viewing veterans as a piece of paper, black and white law. You broke this law, you're out.
And you got a man like him that's getting caught in that's changing the community, like literally
like
changing the community where he's at.
Positive that you're
Fought
doing
for this country.
Yeah.
Beautiful family. Just, I mean, I don't know. It's
It's a live stream.
All right, cool. Oh yeah. So one of the things that I want is, and I'm not mad at no politicians, because I still honor this nation. I'm not blue or red. I will reserve my opinions on that. There's something that I do want to touch on. These protesters right now protesting for this illegal alien thing, they have the right to protest, but I am against one thing these people did. And I would 100% apologize to every single American out there. They have no right to burn the American flag.
Mm.
These protesters are protesting for their parents because they want their parents to stay in this nation, but they're burning the flag that the nation that we want to stay in.
Yeah, it doesn't send the right message.
It doesn't, and it makes me so angry, because people are gonna laugh, and I mean this with total respect to the white man. I'll never be white enough because I'm a Mexican. To the Mexican in Mexico, I'm never gonna be Mexican because I was raised in America. So I tell everybody, I'm gonna write a book called "The Man with No Nation," because to the American-born person, I am not American. To the person who is in Mexico and knows that I was raised in America, I am not a Mexican. They will not accept me as a Mexican, and the United States will not accept me as an American. So there are so many people like me who are willing to fight for this nation who lose. We lose from being there, from being here. We have zero nation. We are called traitors. We are called, there's, you don't know how many times I've talked to politicians about this scenario, and you know what they tell me? Governor Ted Cruz. I talked to him. That sucks, son. I know. I know it sucks. And it's like, well, thank you for the picture. Move on. Excuse me. As soon as I say I'm being deported, instead of I'm a veteran, when I'm a veteran, oh, let me listen to what our veteran has to say. Oh, wait, you're not a citizen? I can't earn your vote? Mr. Jake Alsey, another representative from here in our area, every single representative, and I don't mind if you share it with every representative in our area, I have reached out to their office. Every single representative, and this is what they tell me: it is a trigger. We don't want to put the word veteran and deportation together. And I say, exactly, it should be a trigger. It shouldn't be in the same sentence.
Yeah, I think most Americans, like if they were aware, which Americans tend to be very unaware, they would be like, yeah, they would not be for it. It would be a trigger. It would be a problem.
And it needs to be out there. It is scary. It is scary and this is the scary reasons. When a person like me, if we get deported, you know who loves to hire people like me? To get deported?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what happens when you refuse to work for them? So thank God I survived Iraq.
Yeah.
But a moment that this country puts me on another country, on the floor of another country, and me being a Christian man with certain morals that I will not fight or will not do this, I will die in the country that they deported me because I refuse to be against this country. And
Yeah.
it's they don't see that. No, the American don't see that. Mexico don't see that. So we are traitors in both sides. We are stuck in the middle, and this is the crazy part. We are men and women who have no true nation because, oh yeah, you fought for this flag, you deserve to be here, but you messed up, so we don't want you no more. People don't realize that less than 1% of American-born people serve the nation. 12% of immigrants join the military.
Wow.
Less than 1%, 12%. Okay, I know there's just more. There's just the number.
It's still a pretty extreme ratio.
Yeah, the percentage is the important part, not the number, because obviously there's millions of people compared to the fewer immigrants. But it's the percentage of I will take an oath for this nation, and yes,
I'll fight and die
Yeah.
for this nation.
So when I joined the Marine Corps, I remember joining the Marine Corps and telling the recruiter, "Put me in the front line. I want to blow some stuff up." I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid. That my mama told me, she's like, "This ain't your nation, son." I said, "Yeah, it is. It's where I want to live. It's where I want. If I have." One of the worst things that people don't realize for veterans like myself, when you have a friend who dies in Iraq, and you feel that you should have died there, that's where the PTSD comes from. And you were willing to die. You sometimes wish you would have traded places with that person. And then you get treated like, we don't want you here. When less than 1% of this nation is willing to fight. So it's a very touchy subject for me because I wish that people can stop this. I mean, if we can stop the deportation of veterans, that's all I'm asking is stop the deportation and look at this, at each case, case per case basis. Because out of my hold, I'm 43 years old. 3 years of my life, I was in trouble. I'm not a criminal, a lifetime criminal.
Mm-hmm.
I was a lifetime, probably self-medicating person, but I wasn't a criminal. The VA couldn't help me. I had to find a way to help myself.
And even to add to that, it was like 10 years ago, 11 years ago.
11 years ago.
So it's like there's plenty of time to prove that you are a positive good for the community. Not to mention everything else. Like it's pretty obvious that you're a chaplain for the police department.
Yeah, our police department really stood up when I needed them to stand up. They advocated. So then we go back to the day I got arrested.